is nutrition such a complicated thing? Well, in all honesty, it does not have to be. In the past 50 years or so, nutrition and diets have been widely researched, providing the public with fonts of information. Compared to the lack of information and research on the topic in the past, this is great. However, it can also result in confusion for the everyday person, trying to understand what they should and should not eat or what vitamin supplements they should be taking. Lots of conflicting information is out there as well, making the whole topic too daunting for many to even bother with. Today's presentation will address some of those questions, among other information and commonly asked questions regarding nutrition for the everyday adult. We will be focusing on the grocery store, the place where, for most of us, our nutrition story begins. A quick note before we begin. These are just generalized recommendations that do not necessarily apply to everyone. Please contact your medical provider before making dietary changes or adding and/or stopping any dietary supplements or vitamins. This is a purely informative and educational presentation. It only seems appropriate to begin by examining how we shop. A somewhat little-known secret exists for those who are looking to purchase and consume primarily fresh or minimally processed foods. This trick is called shopping the perimeter. Think about it. What's typically located on the outskirts of the grocery store? Produce, dairy, meats, eggs, nuts. What do you begin to notice about the interior shelves at the store? Maybe prepackaged snacks and typically highly processed foods? Now, this is definitely not a hard and fast rule, but it can help you to focus your shopping and prioritize foods and ingredients you may find on the perimeter of the store. Now, another important question is, why is it important to strive for fresh foods? Well, that's actually quite simple. By purchasing and primarily consuming fresh foods, you have much more control over your fat and sodium intake. Additionally, you're avoiding possibly unhealthy preservatives and likely cutting down on refined sugars, which we will address shortly. Another confusing topic one may encounter while at the grocery store is the topic of preservatives. What is a preservative in the first place? Well, simply put, a preservative is a chemical or additive in food that keeps them shelf stable for a longer period of time. From the consumer's point of view, this makes foods typically easy to travel with and flexible in how they must be prepared. Unfortunately, some of these chemicals are not good for your health. A few examples of specific ones to look out for and try to limit in your diet include sodium nitrate, BHA and BHT, and potassium bromate. Often foods found on the perimeter of the grocery store will be low in preservatives. This is also why many times most of these foods are found in refrigerators, in order to preserve freshness without lots of chemical additives. Now that we have uncovered the secret of how to shop the grocery store, let's dive into some specifics. When it comes to added sugars, how much is too much, you may ask? The recommended daily amount of added sugars is 50 grams a day for the typical adult on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. It's really important to be aware of what has added sugars because manufacturers try to hide sugar in foods and drinks even when you least expect it. The average American consumes about 22 teaspoons of sugar a day, over 88 grams of sugar, and almost twice the daily recommended amount. Drinks. These are often the guiltiest culprits of added sugar. Take the Starbucks Vanilla Frappuccino. It contains 32 grams of added sugar, which is 64% of the daily recommended value. This drink would likely be accompanied by maybe breakfast or some type of snack, which would contain typically between 20 and 30 grams of added sugar. In that one sitting, this person has already exceeded the daily recommended amount of added sugar. Another prime example of drinks with added sugars when you least expect it are energy drinks. A 12-ounce can of Red Bull contains 38 grams of added sugar, and a single can of Monster Energy contains 54 grams of added sugar, over 100% of the daily recommended amount of sugar. Energy drinks have become more and more popular, especially among college students and busy young adults. When you need that extra pick-me-up, try to find a low sugar or naturally sweetened option. Added sugars are often found in abundance in pre-packaged or highly processed foods. The sugar acts as a sort of preservative, increasing the shelf life of certain foods, while also adding a crave-worthy taste. Manufacturers use this to their advantage to keep shoppers coming back to purchase their sugary goodness without any regard to the consumer's health. A big question many have regarding sugar is, why does it matter how much we consume? The answer lies much deeper than the simple fact that sugar can cause unwanted weight gains. Too much sugar in the bloodstream can actually raise your blood pressure and even have significant negative effects on your kidneys. Added sugars are one of the first things to look out for when grocery shopping. These refined sugars are the primary threat to one's health and are often found hiding on the labels within the aisles of the grocery store. The next thing we are going to talk about regarding nutrition in the grocery store is fats. First of all, what even is a trans fat versus a saturated fat versus monosaturated fats versus polyunsaturated fats? The reason different types of fat matter is because they have different effects on cholesterol levels, raising what is referred to as LDL cholesterol or bad cholesterol. The difference in these fats also lies within their chemical structure. These structural differences is what has different effects on your cholesterol levels. The four major dietary fats found in foods are saturated fats, trans fats, monounsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats. All fats contain 9 calories per gram, regardless of the type. However, switching out saturated and trans fats for monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fat is a great way to prevent high cholesterol and still get the energy and nutrients you need. One last macronutrient to understand when grocery shopping is protein. When we think of protein, many of us imagine bodybuilders or protein shake supplements. But this powerful macronutrient is so much more than that. Every single cell in your body, from the cardiac muscle tissue cells in your heart to the tips of your fingernails, contains protein. It is estimated that there are 37.2 trillion cells in the human body, and every single one of them contains protein. Protein acts as a sort of structural building block for muscles, bones, cartilage, and even your skin. Furthermore, protein helps your body to repair existing cells. To fully understand the importance of protein, we must examine its structure and fundamental elements behind the structure. Proteins are composed of amino acids. In the process of digestion, proteins are broken down into their amino acid subunits. Many amino acids are considered essential to the body because they cannot be made by the body and therefore must come from one's diet. Prioritizing macronutrients in the grocery store is a great first step towards making smart food choices. No special diet needed, just a basic understanding of nutrition and what your body needs, and you too can nourish your body and thrive. Let's address one of the many reasons we are drawn to highly processed foods: convenience. Take these rolls, for example. I decided to put the convenience of the pre-prepared dough to the test by timing the process start to finish. From the time I removed the package from the refrigerator to the time they were ready to eat took a whopping 12 minutes. On the other hand, how long would preparing similar rolls from scratch take? By adding up the time it takes to find all the ingredients, make the dough, let it rise, and finally let it cook, the entire process can take anywhere from 2.5 to 8 hours, depending on the leavening agents used. It seems like a no-brainer which of the two options is more appealing, especially to ones that are busy. For many of us, convenience dictates much of our food choices. However, through careful planning and strategic shopping, there are plenty of convenient and fresh or minimally processed options available. An important concept to understand is that though good nutritional choices are important, diet alone is not going to help you see the changes you are looking for. Paired with physical activity, on the other hand, nutrition is a powerful and effective tool. And get this, physical activity doesn't mean you have to run on the treadmill or participate in a cardio class. Find something you enjoy doing, like going for a bike ride or dancing, and make that your physical activity. Another thing that is often forgotten is the importance of moderation. Striving for good nutrition doesn't mean saying goodbye to your favorite snacks and treats. Striving for good nutrition means indulging in moderation and pairing your dessert with a crunchy salad or some lean meat. Balance is the key to nutritional success. Elite athletes utilize nutrition to help them to remain in peak physical condition and support the work they do. Without proper nutrition, much of what athletes do isn't feasible. Every day, we are faced with choices, whether the choice is to what to buy in the grocery store or what to make for dinner from the refrigerator and pantry. Let's circle back to one last confusing question many of us have. Does it matter where we grocery shop? Do these so-called health food stores really offer the benefits they promise? Is it worth the price tag that they come with? Whole Foods, Sprouts, Kroger, Walmart, Fresh Market, Publix, Trader Joe's, Meijer, and those are just a few. Each region or city has at least 2 or 3 or even more different grocery stores. How do you know where to shop? Does it matter? In the end, and in all honesty, the high price tag associated with places like Whole Foods or other health food stores isn't worth it. Sometimes prioritizing produce and meats or dairy from these health food stores is a great way to still shop organic health foods, while also saving you a little money through purchasing other grocery items from more mainstream grocery stores. The bottom line is that although organic is better, because it contains less chemicals and pesticides, it's far better to eat non-organic produce than no produce at all. The large price tag that comes with organic foods often deters many. All the information circulating regarding nutrition and all the nuances that go with it can be confusing. But through educating yourself a little and learning how to prioritize what's really important, which in this case, referring to the topics we discussed in today's video, you can have nutritional success. The choices of what we choose to put in our carts reflects what will go into our bodies. Simply by making smart and strategic choices in the grocery store, the task of making good food choices at home becomes so much easier. Is the saying true, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Why don't you give it a try and see for yourself? Thank you for watching today's presentation. I hoped it helped you to understand the principles and some of the basic fundamentals behind nutrition, exercise, and most importantly, the grocery store, the source of all of our food.